Hey, in this video, I'm ranking all the roller coasters at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Due to Scorpion being closed and Phoenix Rising opening, this will be a perfect opportunity to give you my updated ranking. If you're new to this channel, hey, welcome to Coasters and Travels, where I talk about roller coasters, theme parks, and travels. If that sounds good to you, please consider subscribing to Coasters and Travels. And while you're at it, please like this video. It's free and it helps me greatly. All right, so I'm going to do this ranking a little bit differently. Instead of starting from the bottom, I'm going to start from the top because it's pretty obvious what my number one coaster is, but a lot has changed in the middle. A lot has changed since my last ranking video. So let's get started. So obviously, number one is going to be Iron Gwazi. I don't really need to go into further detail why Iron Gwazi is number one. It's the best coaster out there, the most intense coaster, the tallest, the fastest. It really checks all the boxes it needs to check for it to be my number one coaster. And yeah, it's going to stay there until something bigger and better comes. My number two coaster is Montu. And man, this year Montu has been riding like a bat out of hell. Like it's been running very, very good this year. And like the last couple of rides I had, it has blown me away. I don't remember getting all those G-forces from the first vertical loop. And by the time you get to the bat wing, if you're susceptible to graying out, you will gray out in that moment, like point blank, especially if you sit in the back row. Montu has been on demon time this entire year. My number three coaster, and this would surprise anybody who saw my video last year, is Kumba. Kumba has shot back up into my rankings, and I rode a lot of Kumba this year, mainly because I was tracking my steps and I used to go all the way to the back of the park where Kumba is located, and I would get a lot of rides there. And I realized that, you know what, considering how old Kumba is, I've gotten a lot of good rides on that coaster. Yes, it's still, you know, it has the headbanking, but you know what, I don't know what they did with the maintenance, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be. It's the headbanging is not that bad. I think Kraken's headbanging is more worse than Kumba now, but yeah, Kumba is still that good old intense old school B&M roller coaster, man. And yeah, I enjoyed it very much this year, so that's why Kumba is number three. Number four is Sheikra. Funny enough, Sheikra kept this number four ranking. It's a solid supporting coaster. I like the drop it has, especially in the back row. It has some pretty good airtime on both of those drops. I feel like the second drop has more airtime than the first drop, but both drops are pretty good. I know it was, you know, enthusiasts call it a one-trick pony, but I like dive coasters. I like dive coasters for what they bring to the table. It's something unique, and you know, GP loves dive coasters. So yeah, Sheikra is a solid number four. Number five is Cheetah Hunt. Now, in my last ranking, Cheetah Hunt was number three, but after living in Tampa for almost 2 years now and riding like almost all the coasters in the park, Cheetah Hunt definitely dropped in my ranking. Like, I still think it's a very fun coaster, but it's like its novelty, and I wouldn't say its novelty is wearing out for me, but it's just, you know, it's a good intermediate ride. I mean, it's still fun, but I guess it's not as fun as I used to enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? I guess things have changed, but it's still a very solid ride, very popular ride in the park. And yeah, I enjoy riding it from time to time, but if that line is long, I'm not waiting in that line. Number six is Phoenix Rising. I like this ride. I like it even though it's a family coaster, you know, it's not that intense, blah, 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 blah. But for a family coaster, it does two things that I like. The first thing it does is the first drop in the back row. It's pretty funky, man. That drop, you get whipped. It's a very whippy first drop to be a family roller coaster, and it's fun. I like it. Number two is the pacing. It's not bad pacing for a family coaster. Again, I like it. I like the pacing. I like the whole layout, even though it's short. I like how comfortable the restraints are. I think it's overall a very solid family ride. Again, they need to work on their ride ops and get that line quicker, because I feel like that ride could suffer like the worst waits throughout, you know, out of all the roller coasters, considering it's only one train. So, but besides that, I think Phoenix Rising is a very, very solid family coaster, and that's why it's high as it is on my ranking. Number seven is Tigress. Now, Tigress, I think I ranked it a bit higher on my last ranking. It kind of dropped a bit because I just felt like the other coasters are just better. But Tigris is still a good, solid supporting ride. Nice launch going up the highest part of the ride. I like the airtime you get from that. I like the hang time. The only thing I don't like Premier trains. I do not like those trains in the slightest, especially with the comfort collars. I just think it's so annoying. If it wasn't for the comfort collars, this would probably get a much higher ranking, but the trains still suck. The trains still suck, but had they just take out the comfort collars, I feel like that would be a significant improvement as far as comfort, because you don't need them. You really don't need them. But I think the ride itself is fine. It's just that certain things prevent it from being higher on the list, if that makes sense. My number 8 coaster is Cobra's Curse. Cobra's Curse is a great family roller coaster. It does what it needs to do. Of course, it's not the most intense, but I like how themed it is. I like the queue, probably one of the best design queues in the park. I don't ride this often. Usually I skip this and go straight to Montu, but you know, oftentimes I'll give the ride some love because it is a good ride. I would say there's no bad rides in this park at all. It's just I prefer to spend my time on rides like Montu, Iron Gwazi. Hell, I'd rather spend my time on Phoenix Rising more than Cobra's Curse. But Cobra's Curse is, I feel like, a complete family coaster because it does a lot of variety. Cobra's Curse have like one of the busiest lines in the park, so yeah, very popular for families, and yeah, it's still a solid ride. At the bottom, number 9 is Eric Grover. It's pretty obvious why Eric Grover's number 9 is in a Sesame Street area. It's a kiddie coaster, doesn't really do anything for me. It's not for my demographic at all, but I feel like for kids, I think it's still a great first time coaster. For those who may be scared of bigger coasters, it's a good intro coaster. But as far as my ranking, is at the bottom because it deserves to be. Okay, y'all, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed me going top down instead of bottom up. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about the rankings. How would you rank the roller coasters at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay? And until then, I will see you in the next video.